Hi, everyone. Welcome to Small Talk. Well, today I will be speaking with an author. Is it how you pronounce your name? Is it Mikail?
Mikail, yes.
Mikail Maillet?
Millet.
Millet.
Yeah.
Mikail Maillet. And this is a copy of his book that he brought me, Your Mind or Your Life. So, first of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
When did you start writing this book?
I started writing that book around 2012 somewhere, and I had completed it. It was I went through a publishing company, and it was a rush and deadlines and so on. So in 2015, the original book came out, and my wife and a few friends were reading the book and noticed a lot of spelling mistakes and two words put together should have been separated. A lot of editing issues from the company. So I paid a lot of money for editing, and they did, I think, a very poor job at it. So
that's disappointing, isn't it?
It is. And then a year went by, and they called me and asked me if I wanted to print more books. And I said, well, you haven't fixed the editing yet. I've been waiting, and no one's helped me. And you had a year to get this all sorted out. And I don't know what happened, but they just dropped the ball on me.
Right.
And I said, no, I'm going to rewrite the book the way I wanted to write it. And I'll edit it myself. So what I did is for the next 5 years, I rewrote the book, and I couldn't believe how much was unfinished and how many spelling mistakes that were done in the editing. And I just took the time and rewrote, re-edited, rechecked. I must have edited at least 25 times before I was finally satisfied. So I would take one chapter, one paragraph at a time, and just work through each one this way.
Very good.
I once heard Jordan Peterson talk about editing his books, and he said you should take one paragraph and just work on that one paragraph, one sentence at a time. Make sure you say exactly what you want to convey. And so I took those ideas and implemented them, and it took a long time, 5 years,
Yeah.
But of course, I run a business as well. So,
you do, eh?
Yeah,
okay.
I run a painting outfit here in Chile.
Okay.
Interior and exterior painting.
All right. Put in a plug, you may as well.
Yeah. So it did many, many thousands of hours of late nights and early mornings, and I enjoy it very much.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I found a new love.
Oh, great.
Writing.
Because just think about that. A lot of people might have an idea of a book. Doesn't mean they're able to write it or even get to that point.
True.
Right?
True.
So you actually did it, and obviously it took a while, but you did it.
Yeah, I studied for near 50 years, if that now, of many materials of religion, psychology, philosophy. I'm deep in this study of psychology for the last 5 years, and I enjoy that so much. So one day, one of my friends and a brother of mine said, you should write a book one day, because we used to have conversations. And I said, I hope to do that one day. This was many years ago. So eventually I sat down and said, okay, let's just start writing. I didn't know where to start. I don't have a degree. A degree is just a piece of paper, and it's good for business and such. But I think with time, study, and I was very deep in my studies and research on all these things when it comes to, the book is about liberating the trapped mind. Okay,
because I was wondering, how did you come up with the title?
Yeah,
Your Mind or Your Life?
The cover itself was my idea. The highway represents our conscious mind.
Okay.
The ocean, or a desert, this would be the ocean, represents the unconscious. And the butterfly is just a transformation from our ego consciousness to a higher consciousness. And eventually we need to drop the ego and just let things be.
And that's not easy to do.
No, it's not. It's many lifetimes to accomplish such a thing.
Yeah. No, as you know, I spoke with Frank Talabar. It was on the show. And we're talking about, like, when you're editing or when you're reading through your book, reading it out loud. I don't know if you do that while you're editing, because it helps with the flow.
It does.
Right?
Yeah, because you can hear the flow. You can hear where a sentence needs to be addressed a little bit more. This doesn't sound right. So, but it's great. That's how I learned to edit better. My wife actually brought that up to me one
Right.
day. You should read it out loud because then you
Yeah.
can hear if it flows right. I said, you know what? I think I will. So
Right.
I found reading it out loud, definitely. I've read that book at least 25 times.
Oh, you have, eh?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
In the editing process, but that's how I did it, was I would read it out loud and each paragraph or each chapter, and
Mhm.
then, oh, that doesn't sound right. I need to elaborate more on this. And so it was, I discovered a new love because I have many,
Nice.
yeah, it is. I have many passions and um, this one here, because I still read like at least 4, sometimes 5 hours a day.
Right.
But I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning.
I know what
By
you
9,
mean.
10 o'clock, I'm okay, ready for the day.
Right, yeah.
So-
Yeah, I'm up early too, but not because I'm reading.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to talk about some of the chapters, if that's
Sure,
okay. So
sure,
you start off with find meaning in life, finding meaning in life, sorry.
Yes.
So how do you go about, if somebody's talking to you like, hey, I need some help here. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I want. So how would you approach that?
I would ask them what they love most. What is their most passionate ideals?
Mhm.
And even with kids, once you discover what their passions are, I would triple down on that, focus on that. A lot of people have many interests,
Mhm.
and their interests kind of flow in many different areas, but they're not focused on any one.
Right,
And so I would just find meaning in life, like what makes you happy, what gives you satisfaction, brings
Right.
you joy. And that's what I think one should. I have a certain passion since I was 17, and it's never let up.
is that what the martial arts, is that
Yeah, I
one of
did
your
martial.
passions?
Yeah, I've been doing martial arts for about 53 years now,
Mhm.
and that was my passion in my younger years. I loved it so much. I really climbed up quick with that, and I just found, because I put so much energy and so much focus on the arts,
Right.
there was the physicality of it all. There was the mental part of it all. I started meditating in 1976. And then as I grew and evolved a little more, I started to delve in deeper into the spiritual practice of the arts and everything else
Right.
with life. So there are different stages.
Mhm.
I have interest these days that I didn't have when I was young.
Yeah, which makes
As we
sense. Yeah,
age, we find that we have new interests
For
and
sure.
things, and some things I used to believe I no longer believe, only because through my own research and practice. Yeah, no kidding. And if I can't test a theory,
Mhm.
I can't buy into it. So some I'm not much enjoying much of the woo-woo stuff,
Yes,
but I'm a very spiritual individual.
yeah.
I believe in higher things,
Mhm.
and I believe this is not the only life we live.
Right.
It makes no sense.
I agree with you.
And I've
Yeah,
analyzed, I've analyzed that. Like, why is there's every person on this planet is a different being? We're all come
Yeah.
from a similar source. We all have the same, atoms and molecules and
Right.
the original code, but we're all different,
Mm.
even twins.
Yes, absolutely.
So I looked at all that, and I read a little bit about reincarnation, and I wasn't interested in what they were saying, because again, it was like, how can you prove what you're saying? There's different understandings without true knowing
Mhm.
when it comes to reincarnation. Some people believe that you can go backwards in incarnation and become a cow if
Yeah,
eat cows or kill them or such things like this. But evolution doesn't work that way. It doesn't go backwards.
No.
It's always progressing forward.
right.
So I think as humans, if we do live a dark life,
Mm.
that, there's some kind of unknown consequence down the road, whether it's in this life or the next. But it just never made sense to me that we have only one chance to make
Right.
it to some place they call heaven. So I believe that, personally, through my own experience, I believe that heaven is right here.
I agree with that.
Right here,
Yeah, yeah, I totally believe that.
And the opposite of that as well. It's where do you draw from?
Mhm.
people believe in a hell or, a heaven. And I don't believe such a place exists. I believe that that's within us all.
That's most religious teaching, I believe, right?
Yeah, and it was a lot to do with control and
Yes.
and getting people to conform to a certain ideology. And I've studied many different ways, Buddhism, Taoism, Christianity. Presently I'm studying the Sikh religion just to understand their way of thinking, and they had a pretty good philosophy on where the term God is.
Okay.
So
Don't know anything much about it,
No, I'm discovering that they believe that the guru within is similar to the Christ within.
Oh, okay.
So I believe that's the second coming, is becoming awake yourself,
Right.
the Christ within us, the guru, the Buddha within us.
Okay.
So I don't follow any one way,
Mhm.
but I can be part of any way. Like if I'm in a Buddhist environment, I can be a Buddhist.
Right.
If I'm in a Christian environment, I can be a Christian.
Right.
But I don't follow any one way, because if I choose one way, I reject all others.
Right.
So I like to be open and able to learn from
I like that.
all walks of
Yeah,
life.
I like that. Like I was brought up in the Catholic religion,
Me
and
too.
it's a brainwashing,
It
in
is.
my opinion.
Yeah,
Right? And when I was about 17, I just started thinking my own for myself. And
Yeah.
I was like, some of this stuff that just
Isn't it
doesn't make
funny?
any sense.
That number 17 pops up a lot with people.
Is that right?
That's when I began my deep study, and I
Right.
started questioning things a bit before that. But when 17 is when I really clamped down.
Right.
I met someone, and we went on a trip to Montreal, and he was a martial arts instructor, very spiritual and very high ranking.
Right.
And I was told that if you can get in with him, because I studied karate and
Right.
boxing many years before that, so if you can get in with him, you'd be lucky, because he has things that none of us have, secrets in the arts. And so one day we went to visit him, me and two of my friends, and he comes out of the kitchen. His wife was Italian and my friends were Italian, so that was kind of their way in.
Yeah.
So we went knocking on his door and asked him if he'd be interested in teaching. And he came out of the back room with a book in his hand, and he looked at us, and he just nodded his head and said, no, I'm not interested. So we said, okay. So we left. Next thing you know, a week later, I get a phone call from my Italian friend who says he wants to teach now. He's going to have a class out of his house. He has this little garage on the side. And so we joined, and when I started, there was 13 of us. And by the time, I guess a year or two went by, there was only 3 of us left. In the last 5 years, there was only 2 of us. So I stuck with it. And one day we went on a journey to Montreal, and he said, do you read? I said, well, I can read, but I don't read. He says, why not? I said, I don't know. I've never had any inclination to. And he says, do you know that people who read are the ones who grow and evolve? You learn things.
Yeah.
And I never forgot that. And I said, oh, okay, well, I'm going to take you to a bookstore in Montreal and just pick out some books. So I did. I walked around the store and I grabbed a bunch of books, had them all in my hand, and I put them on the counter. I said, these are the ones I'm going to buy today. Had no idea what I was buying. He says, no, this you don't want. That's way too advanced. You're not ready for that. And he started picking. Then we walked around a little bit more. He grabbed a couple of books that he thought that I would start with. And lo and behold, I got home, I started studying it. I've never stopped. That was 1977. And I found a passion for learning. And so I kept studying with him for about 10 years privately. And then we opened up a club in 1985 in Moncton, New Brunswick. And I gathered up about 36 people to start on our first night. And it went over well. But after a few years, there was things going on with the club. I needed to leave the nest and grow some more. So I told him I resigned from the club due to some things I was witnessing going on in the club after class, and I didn't like what was happening. So my wife and I got married a year later and moved to British Columbia in 1988.
Okay.
Yeah. And he said, "Oh, you'll be back." He says, "Take a year off." I said, "Okay." And my dad back, he said the same thing. "Oh, you'll be back in 6 months." Her parents said the same. I knew what it was like out here because I was already exposed
Yes, yeah.
before. So I said, "Okay, we'll see." And like almost 40 years later, we haven't gone back.
I'm from back east, so I know.
Yeah, it's too beautiful.
Don't go back.
That's right. That's right. And I like that too, is that's the key. Don't go back.
Yeah,
Don't go back to your old way of
yeah,
thinking, your old habits, your old, some friends you have to let go
Right.
as you're growing because they're
Mhm.
just, we're doing this all the time, right?
Yeah.
And after a while, you get tired of watching the same things happening with yourself, with those other
Right.
people.
Right.
And so it became paradigmal. And what I mean by that is, as we grow up with certain habits and we learn these things. And, as you grow, you start to change your beliefs, you start to change your ways. And people are always saying things like, why do I always attract the wrong person?
Yeah, yeah.
Why am I always having these bad things happening in my life? And it's geared towards what is part of your belief system. You believe these things, and when I hear people say, "Well, I can't do this," you have to change your thinking.
Yes.
I want to stay alone because I keep attracting the wrong people in my life, so I want to stay alone. That's not very healthy either.
Yeah.
So what people need to do is change their way of thinking, change their paradigm, because habits can be changed really quick.
Right.
But you have to believe that you can make that change.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's fear attached to letting go
Mhm.
for some people. For me, it's a challenge. It's always been a challenge to make changes and
Sure.
move ahead. And, so the key to this book is liberating the trapped mind. That's what it's all about. Most people are trapped in their thinking.
Because, just thinking too, but a lot of it is learned. Like I found myself at one point behaving a lot the way my mother did that I didn't like.
True.
It's just one moment. It's almost like the cloud cleared,
Yeah.
or the fog cleared.
Yeah,
And it's
that's right.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I'm doing what I didn't like my mom was doing, So it's like, so that's the thing.
true.
But for me, a lot of that was due to my children
Yeah.
because they made me realize, like, you're not being nice. You're not being a good mom.
Isn't that great?
Yes, well, it was hard to listen to,
Yeah.
but
Me too.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd hear my dad come out of me sometimes and go,
Yeah.
"Whoa, that sounded just like him." And
It's
we have.
freeing, though. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Once you realize it,
Yeah,
it's freeing, isn't it?
it's completely freeing. It is. It
And I
certainly is.
interrupted you. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, that's okay. My kids actually have taught me a lot just by their response to things. I find that a lot of people, mostly the younger people today, are very overly sensitive. You can't joke around anymore.
Yeah.
You got to watch what you say. Things are taken out of context constantly. So it's like you're walking on a tightrope sometimes
Yeah.
with certain people or certain places you are. And there's a lack of freedom in there. I understand that we need to be careful of how we talk about things sometimes because people get offended real easy. Times have changed so
Yeah,
much since you and I were kids,
Yes. Well,
growing up.
I've learned that I personally have a very thin skin,
Yeah,
but I know that about myself. And,
Yeah.
and when I hear something and I perceive it personally as somebody's hurting me,
right.
I have to think it through
Yeah,
and realize that's not what's happening. Yeah, again, it's not easy to do, but I do that now
it is very difficult.
because I want to lash out
Yeah,
and hurt back.
yeah,
That's my first reaction.
that's common human nature.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I no longer do that,
Yeah, that's great.
but I'm still triggered by certain things.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get triggered when I feel like I'm being threatened or
Yeah,
challenged. I don't, best thing to do that I've found, like when it comes to anger, for example. When people get angry, they just keep lashing out back and forth at each other, in a lot of relationships end because of that. And what I've learned, the best thing to do is that if you are going through a period of anger, it's near impossible on the fly to stop that anger, because the fire is so deep within you, and you just a lot of it comes from the unconscious. So the best thing I've found was to just walk away and go for a drive or go for a walk. And I found within 5-10 minutes of that, just getting away from this stress environment, that I come to my senses and realize what I've done or what I've said. I see what's been said on the other side as well. And so we find meaning in what happened. And I never let things continue and linger.
Because that's the worst thing, because it builds up, and all those tiny little things become a huge thing, right?
Yeah. Can be cancerous.
Yes, exactly.
Stress kills.
Yeah.
I have a brother that passed away at 58, 2016 from myeloma. And he used to internalize everything. My person would say something to him and he'd be struggling with that for a week or two, just constantly thinking about it, what he could have said. And I think we've all done that, where we have situations where we look back and say, "Oh, I wish I would have said that."
Yeah, for sure.
I would have dealt with it this way, or
for sure.
And it's on the fly. It's really hard to just move from this stressful state to a calmer state. And there'll be the odd person sometimes when you're having a debate with that will trigger you more and more, to get upset, and then look at you and say, well, you don't have to be so excited. You don't have to yell. I'm not yelling, I'm raising my voice. Yelling is totally different. But we just got to find a place where we can just eliminate us. When they say less is more, there's truth to that. The less we say, the less harm we could cause ourselves and others as well, because sometimes things just come out.
Yes.
You see something and it just comes out. Oh, geez, I just blurted that out. I wish I could take that back. I apologize. But if I have an issue with someone or they with me, I try my darndest to fix that. Find some kind of medium. It is hard.
I find that's for me still the most difficult thing.
It is, yeah.
Be able to sit, because in my mind, I'm all nice and calm. And then when the words come out, it doesn't sound so calm anymore, Right. So that's a struggle for me.
It is. Yeah, the unconscious is funny. I don't know if you realize this, but we live in our unconscious at least 85% of the day.
Right.
We have random thoughts about some number that came up with 65,000 thoughts per day.
Wow.
How many of those are your own?
Yeah, right. Okay.
And sometimes I've heard people say, if you could only hear what I'm thinking, it's pretty damaging. Well, don't stop thinking that way, and don't say it out loud. But so I like to work towards knowing where my thoughts are. And a lot of thoughts come in, come out. I meditate for decades now. And when I sit to meditate, to get to that calm state, many thoughts are, plaguing your mind in the first little bit. But when you communicate to your mind, relax. And I have this mental exercise I do, that when I see thoughts that I believe are not mine, or negative thoughts always come in and out, I kind of have this mental sweeper in my mind, where I just push all that stuff out and just focus on the now.
Right.
What has happened, I can't change. If there was some damage done, then I definitely would try and fix that. And we can't really, the future's not here yet. So the most important thing is the present time. And if we could live, good luck, in the present all the time.
Like the way children do.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You look at little children and they're 100% present to what they're doing, and it's amazing to watch.
How can we lose that? Yeah,
well, many distractions in life, and people coming in and out of our lives, and causes friction. And
right.
it's actually good for us to have all these different experiences
Mhm.
because it helps us grow, helps
For
us
sure.
evolve. And I had a Christian friend of mine once ask me that if you believe in, I call it transmutation of the soul,
Mhm.
reincarnation, I don't care for that term anymore. It's just overused.
Right.
But it says, if you believe in that, how do you explain God? And I said, well, I think God is ever present everywhere in every living thing within us. You know, I said, Jesus, for example, who you follow, he didn't say, follow me. Nowhere in the Bible does it say, follow me.
Mm.
It says in there that the kingdom of God is within you, within all of us. So why are we looking for God on the outside when God is on the inside? And he said, interesting. I says, how about this? What if I was to say that Jesus or Buddha, if you're a Buddhist, is within you? He lit right up. He says, that makes more sense. I said, that's what the second coming, I believe, is all
Okay.
about,
Right.
is becoming awakened within ourselves. If we could live like those great masters did, where they were calm, being able
Yeah.
to express themselves without any stress, can see everything clearly, you're in your present state.
Right.
It's a beautiful place to be. But we have so many distractions that
Yes.
it's hard to,
And now is a really bad time,
oh my goodness, yeah.
right? So it's very scary and a
It
hard
is.
time for a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's hard to not listen to the news or read the posts or,
yeah.
right? And
It's difficult for seniors
yes,
these days. I'm glad that women are finally getting good strength in their lives because they've been pushed back for centuries.
Yeah.
You know, it's all been the patriarchal um, society for all
Yeah.
these thousands of years. You know, there was a time in the very ancient times where women ruled the world.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
women were the great goddesses
Right.
of things, and it's over time.
Well,
Religion kind of stepped all over that, and
well, I was just thinking about that, because I've mentioned it to somebody else, like you
Mhm.
talk about the Catholic religion.
Mhm.
I remember being told that I was born with original sin in my soul.
Yeah,
And that sin is Eve tempting Adam, which set us up, females to take the blame for
Yeah.
what men did,
yeah,
right?
it's a ridiculous belief.
Yeah.
They have the misconception of who he really was and what all that whole.
I mean, I understand it's not what they're talking, what
Yeah.
they're saying it is, but
Yeah,
even so, why wasn't he responsible for his own behavior?
exactly.
Why put that on women, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's been like that for so long, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't believe in any of that whatsoever. I think women are very precious and very important and a need in this world. You know, if this world was run by men, oh my God, it'd be chaos
Yeah.
constantly. Women are the ones who bring the creativity and the love, the
Yeah.
compassions and the just the
Well, they talk about some
nurturing.
of the villages and maybe in Africa and whatever, and if they set up a woman in let's say a small town to run a business, the
Mhm.
whole village prospers.
Yeah,
Everybody,
That's
she doesn't
right.
just take for
that's
herself
right.
because she's a caregiver, right?
Exactly.
And that's what they
Exactly.
do. So
Yeah,
it's kind of
and I
fascinating.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
There are a lot of men that I find now are like taking more responsibility of I'm
Mhm.
not just the man that's going to go out to work and blah blah blah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They are more involved with the children and with the home, and
Yeah.
which is really good. I
it
think.
is.
It's a better balance.
The problem with our children on the streets today are because of the parents.
Yes, for sure.
So when I
yeah.
see men today, I see different behaviors with a
Mhm.
lot of men. I see how much they do care for their kids,
Yes, of
the
course.
time that they spend with them. Um, I knew when I grew up, my dad was always working.
Yes.
Mom was doing everything. And, she was the one I was always able to go and talk to when I had problems. And
Yeah.
I talked to my dad about certain things one or two times when I was growing up, and I never went back to him for advice because what are you doing thinking like that? Get a trade, as I'm growing up and
Yeah.
have certain loves. I love to read and when I was 17 is when I began with that, but was into the arts. And he said, "You'll never get anywhere with books. What do you want to do? What do you want to read for? You should be out working." I said, "Well, Dad, I'm working on that,
Yeah.
And martial arts, when you're going to give that up? You can't make money in martial arts." Well, I've ran martial arts clubs for decades and did quite well. I've been running my own business my whole life. And I figure it's easier to build my own dream than to build someone else's.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my dad just passed away a few months ago.
Mhm.
And I went back east when I released my book. It was March. My wife and I went to Istanbul for a month, right into April. And when I came home, I had my first signing in Istanbul, in Turkey.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was amazing. When I came home, I had a message from a friend and invited me I was going to go visit my dad. He was having some health issues. And my friend says, "Well, whilst you're here, why don't you do a book signing at our store?"
Mhm.
And I said, "I'd love to do that." So I showed up and I brought 18 books with me. And it was a 3 hour sitting in the store.
Right.
I had all the books signed and sold within an hour and a
Oh,
half.
that's not must have so.
Oh, it was amazing. It was
Wow.
overwhelming,
Yeah. Eh? Wow.
And so my dad, we got closer on that visit.
Yeah.
We opened up to each other, forgave each other.
Oh, nice.
When I came home, I had a few more book signings, the art interview, and I got a message that I was nominated for the Chili's Awards here in Chilliwack.
Yes.
For my
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
And so my dad found out about that. He saw the writings
Yeah.
and he saw this article that was in the Observer of Harrison. And my cousin told me he was so proud when he saw that. I said, "You're kidding." My dad's never proud of his kids,
Wow.
So this was a couple months before he passed
Right.
that I finally got to show him that, yeah, you can make money with books.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're always children to our parents, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
We're always needing that
Yeah.
approval
That approval,
right?
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
really strange, but
Yeah. Oh, but that's so nice.
yeah, it is. And he died pretty much in his sleep. He went in, broke his hip,
Mm.
had a fall, broke his hip, went into the hospital, had surgery, everything was fine. A couple days later, he just passed away in the hospital bed,
Right.
and apparently passed away peacefully. So I was very happy that we got to have that conversation.
Yeah.
We got close again. He got to see this happen, and I have no regrets.
Very good.
No regrets
That's
whatsoever.
nice.
So what I hope to do with this book is just to inspire people to start looking within their own thinking
Right.
and realize that we are the cause of all the phenomenon that happens in our life. But Buddy did this to me, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But what did you do to cause that to happen?
Mm.
If you really analyze your life, you realize that, yeah, most of the things that's happened to me are due to my own way of thinking and
Right.
processing or actions I've taken in life, not realizing the consequences. So I looked at my whole life and I lived like through meditation, a lot of thinking, and realized that a lot of the mishaps I've had in my lifetime, I caused just by making the wrong move, saying the wrong thing,
Mhm.
going in the wrong environment, etc. When it could have been avoided.
Right.
So, but people don't like me saying that we are the cause of our own occurrences, our own results in life.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. Because people want to blame somebody or
Of course.
something.
It's
Right.
easier to blame
Yeah.
someone else.
Or just blame tall people in general. That's right.
That's good. Yeah, so it's once a person starts realizing that everything they say and do and think is cause and an effect, then things start to change real fast. It
Right.
doesn't take a long time in order to attract in your life the experiences you want.
Mhm.
All you got to do is know what you want, think about it, and then move in the direction that's going to cause that effect that you want.
Right. Yeah.
But people by nature are lazy,
Yeah.
and they prefer to have a place called heaven, this promise.
Yes,
You
right.
know, when I die, I'm going to heaven. I'm going to do all the right things. It's not about that.
Right, I
It's
agree, yeah.
about living a life of purpose,
Yeah.
and you know, we're all connected. I love everybody.
And when you're kind,
Yes,
when you do something nice, it's such
Yeah.
a good feeling.
it is.
Like, why wouldn't you want more of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that is its own ripple effect.
yeah. It's true.
Well,
I
yeah.
mentioned that, you know, like when I say a thing like, I love everyone,
Mhm.
I love everyone on a deeper level. We're all connected.
Right,
Um, I don't love some of the actions that happen with people,
yeah, for sure.
the way they, you know, think and create certain things in others' lives that create a bad effect. But I find that when you're kind with someone or you present a smile, most of the time they'll smile back.
Yes.
And I once posted on social, let's be kind today. I had many positive comments and then one. The F with your kindness. Forget about
It has to be
kindness.
one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that's probably a bot. If it's a real person, well, I guess their life isn't much fun, you know.
Yeah,
But it's up to us.
that
You know,
is, yeah.
When it comes to life and
Yeah.
what we want.
Well, we're gonna end it there,
Sure.
okay? And I just want to remind the audience that this is Mikail's book, Your Mind or Your Life. And if you're looking for inspiration or help or something to help you move forward, I guess is a good way to word it. Look for his book. I'm sure it can be found just about.
Yeah, it's found on Amazon, on amazon.ca.com. It's available all around the world in all the different countries under their Amazon connection.
Right? What about in local bookstores?
And not in the local bookstores. There's actually one bookstore in Chilliwack, the Bookman.
Okay, yes.
There's a copy in there,
Okay.
and I went through the self-publishing. So
Mhm.
traditional publishing, you can get it in all the bookstores,
Right.
etc. But I want to grow this organically
Mhm.
and just do book signings and events all over
Very good.
wherever I can go and have them available.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks again for
My pleasure.
being here. I
And
appreciate
also, they can find this book on my webpage. It's called yourmindoryourlife.com,
it. Okay.
and it'll lead you right to the connection.
Very good. Very good. All right. Well, thank you very much for doing this
Thank
with me. I
you.
appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for watching the show. I hope you continue to do so. Take care of everybody and peace out. I gotta find the off button. Always have.